Okay guys, so it's beginning of December, so it's time to make the fall or autumn update of my orchid collection. So it's Advent time, there is stuff to talk about regarding my orchids, and I have my ugly Christmas sweater on, so everything's fine. Let's check out my orchids. What did they do in the autumn time? Let's start this whole thing out here in this grow room thingy. If I will have the mood and if I won't be too lazy about it, I will put in the corner somewhere a little screen with the summer update. If I'm talking about the orchid, maybe you will be able to see that orchid in the corner, or maybe not, or maybe in the other corner. We'll see how it will work, but let's start this collection update here in the grow room. So let's start off by this side of the cage. So here we have on this side, this is my epidendrum. I forgot the name of it, but what happened, I broke out the new growth on it. So after it decided to actually grow two more new growths, which are growing really fast. This orchid was really slow for me, but right now it's growing super fast. Look at this big new growth. It was grown in like a month or something like that, 2 months. And there at the older part of this division, there is another new growth. Here we have this mounted Phalaenopsis here, and oh, if you are wondering what is this beautiful leaf here, this variegated monster or something, well, I will talk about that in a different video. So this is my Phalaenopsis orchid in spike. Miltonia spectabilis something is in a really bad condition. I'm not sure why it is doing this bad. Maybe it has fusarium. In the jungle of leaves, here we have my semi-mounted Phalaenopsis, which is growing really beautifully. It's growing this big and wide leaf, and I'm really loving this leaf, so it's really just going back into the healthy business. Also, here is my Ancistrophyllus Rothschildianus. I was talking about this in a different video. It's dormant right now. My project plant Catasetum is dormant right now as well. Here are some other plants. This is my Oncidium Bartley Schwartz while growing the new growth, and that's that. This is my epidendrum, and yes, we have snow out there. Oh my god, that's too bad. It's so early. So this is my epidendrum, pseudopidendrum. It's growing this new growth here, which I'm really grateful that it's growing this growth, because this plant was attacked by spider mites in the summertime, and the new growth was kind of questionable. But right now it's growing good, so that's a good point. This is my Columnara Masai Splash. Well, the new growths are growing, but you know, it's a really bad small division, both of them, so I'm not hoping for flowers soon. Those are some Phalaenopsis which are growing really well there. They are gaining their strength. Here on this upper part of the rod for the monster, here I have my Grammatophyllum scriptum variety citrinum. It's not doing anything so far because I just bought it at the Budapest Orchid Show, and if you want to see that orchid show, click on the corner or the hole. Now in the window we have my Vandas, which aren't doing anything blooming stuff since it's winter time and they don't receive as much sunshine, but the roots are actually growing really well on them. For example, here is my white Wanda, and I hope I can show you that. I have a bifurcated root there. It is funny. So the root development is going well, but nothing else is happening. Here is my Bulbophyllum longissimum. I always forgot to water it, so it's a little bit dehydrated, but you know, I'm trying to keep up with the watering, so it's going better and better. There is my Bulbophyllum lapidum. Well, not doing anything right now, anything special. And here is the Paraphalaenopsis labucensis, which is started to grow. I thought the last leaf, which it was growing, the youngest leaf, is the final size, but actually it started to grow that leaf, and also it started to grow two new really fabulous fleshy roots, so that's good. And yes, there is this grass thingy in the pot because you know, it's this orchid nursery pot and I wasn't sure how much water is in it, so the grass there is my indicator. So I'm looking forward to repot it, but I really don't know how to repot it. I want to do something beautiful with it, but also not only beautiful, but something reasonable, you know. Okay, here up with my succulents there is my Paphiopedilum American hybrid. Well, it's just growing, I cannot see spikes on it or anything else. Okay, on the other side of the cage, here is my other mounted Phalaenopsis, which is growing a spike with a branch, and all of the end parts of the spikes are growing, so that's good. I'm gonna have quite a few flowers on it, because it always blooms for me with like 3 or 2 flowers, but right now I'm gonna have more, so that's good. Here is my Wanda seedling, Wanda Roblingian, I don't know, I don't know the name of that. It's not doing anything right now. In the summertime it is doing really well. On this table here is my Dendrobium bigibum variety compactum, and I have a video about it, so you can check that out if you want to see more about these blooms. I love these blooms. Still no fragrance though. Here is my Oncidium type Hovera lavaburst red bug. Well, it started to grow the new growth. I really loved this year's blooming, it was really nice, and there is a new growth there. Maybe there is something here as well, I'm not sure about that. Oncidium Catherine Zoc, it's really just going out of bloom, so I'm looking forward to the new growth. There in the bag, this is my Dendrobium, Phalaenopsis type Dendrobium, which I bought because of the really thick pseudobulbs. Well, it is growing the spike there. You can see that spike there. Okay, so that's good. Overall, I think my last summer was really good for my plants, and this good summer really extended their growing habits into the winter, into the autumn time. So right now they are doing really well overall. Like last year, my plants weren't doing so well like right now. There is stuff happening on this Jungle in a Pot project thingy, but I will show you that in the update of this one, because there is an update due for this one as well. Here are these orchids which we were talking about. Down here, this is my Zygonesia hybrid something. I treated this one twice with the solution, that bleaching treatment thingy. The spotting stopped for a few weeks, and then the swelling continued to infest everything on the plant, so it's not doing well. I'm gonna throw this one out. I totally forgot to talk about these. So this is my Dendrobium nobili kokedama and the artificial kokedama thingy. This is my Dendrobium aphyllum, which is actually 4 divisions. When I repotted into this one, I realized that it has 4 divisions. Not great, but you know, Dendrobium nobili kokedama. Well, it's producing spikes everywhere, and well, it's really weird because the spikes weren't like produced at the same time exactly. So there is one spike which is already blooming on the bottom part, and the blooms are really tiny, so this is not the best year for it. The last year was better. And with this one, it was really sleeping late. It was in this winter rest something period for a really long time, and it started to like produce new growth middle summer or something like that. So these are the new growths, and they are not too big, so I'm just keeping watering it, and we'll see what's gonna happen with them. Okay, and here is my Dendrobium nasmum kokedama, artificial kokedama something. The new growth is this big, and the end part decided to, I don't know, rot or something, so it wasn't doing too great. But you know, it was a big stress for this orchid because I had to remove all the roots. But without any rest, there is a new growth plumping up at the base. I have something plumping up here on this pseudobulb cane something, so I really hope it's a flower, but I think it's gonna be just a keiki. Okay, here is my Holcoglossum vengia. It is just here doing nothing, like literally nothing. It started to grow a new leaf and a new root, but then they stopped, and now it's resting because it's cold and winter time. White Dendrobium nobili, the spring dreamer pollen, is like full of buds. Look at that. Everywhere I look, I can see some spikes. There are some spikes, here are some spikes, so buds everywhere. And my other Dendrobium nobili, which is like yellowish pinkish, Nothing, only two. These are the only spikes I have on it, so... Okay, and here in this aquarium thingy there is my Masdevallia, which is not doing too well, but you know, it's a Masdevallia. I don't think it will do too well for me at any time, but there is this new growth like growing on it really nicely. And this is my Prominia without like leaves, because it's lost like a big amount of leaves, so that's not too good, but it's growing some new growth, so that's great. So here are my shelves, my orchid shelves. So let's take a look at the plants here, and let's begin from the bottom part. Here is my Phalaenopsis schilleriana. Bang, that's a spike! It wasn't doing anything for like half a year, and right now it's producing a spike and also roots, so that's really great. That's my Dendrobium, what's your name, Lindley. It started to produce roots again, like it stopped producing roots in the summertime, and also the new growths, like they grew like really fast, and it was doing nothing in the summertime, and right now after the summertime it started to produce like lots of roots again. Okay, here's my Phalaenopsis ballina. Well, it's kind of stopping its growth because it's cold and winter time. Cattleya Lecco Peach Sun, which was growing a really promising new growth, which was this one, and it did not bloom, so boo. Here's this one, my... I forgot the name of it, but I made a video when I received it. It's growing super good. It's so vigorous that I cannot tell you. It's growing roots, it has two directions of growth. I wasn't expecting spikes right now because I repotted it. It was a stress with all the traveling and stuff, but maybe the next growth will have some blooms. Epidendrum brassavolee, which we repotted I think together. Also we made this root barrier thingy there together, which is like doing its job properly. Look at all these roots growing into the medium. And this is the new growth on it. It started to get really big, as you can see there. And also I have some other new growths. Here are the two new growths which are growing slower, but they are growing. So I have three directions of growths on it, so that's great. Wanda Naoki Kawamura, not doing anything, growing one root, one single root in the medium. That is my Brassia, which I want to sell, but I never sell it, but I always want to sell it. I don't want to talk about that one. This is my Rhynchostylis gigantea. It stopped its growth in the summertime, but the summertime had its great effect on it, so right now it's producing roots. Look at that fat juicy root growing on it. Hey root, you are beautiful, and why are you so unfocused? Okay, now you can see that. Renanthera schultiana from my rage haul video, if you are curious about the video. Check it out in the info card, or you can find a link down in the description box. The top part, look at that. I had crown rot there, but it stopped, and right now it's looking like this. Nothing's growing on it, so that's bad. Okay, that is my Brassavola David Sanders doing nothing, like really, it's doing verse and verse, like I don't know what's the problem of that one, but the root producement is really gorgeous. Okay, and this is my Bulbophyllum Echinolabium, which I repotted into full ceramics here, but the actual pot is like not this deep. The actual pot is like something like this size. It's looking better than it was looking in its original something basket, because I can hydrate it more, you know. This coating on it is really something close to that coating which is present on these powdery succulent leaves, and I have a video about these coatings. If you are curious about it, check it out. Okay, here are my seedling and not so seedling Euriconi Galliancoch plants. I have one more up there, but here are the two big ones. These are the big ones. I mean, look at these leaves. I'm dying for these leaves. Somewhere around I received them, I told you that there are some bumps which resemble spikes, and they're growing like spikes. Well, those bumps, they actually never grow for me, so maybe they are just preparing for next blooming or something like that, but I'm glad they are there, and I hope they will turn into flower spikes soon. You remember my Brassavola Kilanistars, that fabulous big mount? I had to take it out because it was really just growing a spotting on the leaves, and I treated it with a really weak bleach solution twice and it was doing worse and worse, so I managed to save only this tiny division. Okay, this is my Oncidium, which we saved together. The roots are growing on it. The pseudobulb inside the new growth is plumping up. Phalaenopsis Cornucervi Chatelade, it grew this tiny leaf, but the roots are growing fabulously on it, so after these roots are growing into the medium, it will have some bigger leaves as well. This is my Brassavola Glauca. I just received it, so I cannot say anything about it. Hello Neophynicia or Vanda falcara. In the last update I told you that this is the only remaining crown, so this is a tiny division of my original plant because it got crown rot. And well, yeah, it was a big stress and it's doing nothing right now. I think this leaf was grown a few centimeters, so well, that's something, right? Okay, this is my Plurothalis stricta, and like 2 days ago I removed all the wiring which was going on at the base of the plant, because the plant right now can hold itself in its pot, because well, it's a great achievement, because these roots are really tiny. Look at those roots, they are really tiny, but the plant is holding itself in its pot, and the leaves, these last leaves, these are really big compared to any other leaves on the plant. Look at this, these leaves are just really huge. Look at the pattern. Maybe it's not getting something, maybe it's a nutrition deficiency or something going on with it, but anyways, the plant is looking great. Here is my Gongora galeata variety flower. This is like my worst doing plant. It's growing new growth, but it's stopping them and drying up and stuff like that right now. It lost all of the leaves. This is the new growth leaves. I don't know what's happening with that. This is my Cattleya Princess Jackie. It was growing a new growth in the summer update. Well, this is the new growth. It is really big. I thought it's gonna be like half the size of this growth, but it's really big, so I think the next growth has the possibility to grow this big like the blooming growth was, so that's great. This is my Cattleya Princess Jackie, the saved one, which had Fusarium, but I saved this division, so it's growing nicely there. This new growth is really just plump and nice. There are roots growing down into the medium. This tiny seedling something came together with the Holcoglossum wengii, and it's really tiny, so I don't give any chance to it to live. Sophrolalia Cattleya Little Hazel M. This was the blooming growth. This was the bulb which produced that really beautiful blooms, and right now it's plumping up the newest growth there. So I'm curious if it like remains to be a seasonal grower or not. I'm really curious about that, and I'm really curious if the new growth will bloom or not. Okay, and there are some more orchids here and there in the house. So this is my Catasetum planiceps. It's going into dormancy, so it's really in its season, and I'm really hoping for some flower spikes in the springtime, because this Catasetum is like blooming in the spring. Here we have a Hoya, and this is a primary hybridish looking Phalaenopsis with a spike, so that's great. Kingianum, not Kingianum, the Perioda. Look at the new growth. Look at how many new growths it has. But I don't think they will grow really big because it has a poor root system. Okay, and this is my Oncidium, which is doing not so good because it has all this edema going on the leaves. But it's plumping up, so it's like getting better and better. And this is a Cattleya, which is in a saving mode. This is the newest growth, which is really big, so that's good. Okay, and I think these are the two last windows in which are orchids, in which I keep orchids. So this is the Dendrobium Phalaenopsis, which we saved together, and the last leaf, it was dried up, so maybe it was a crown rotish something going on there. I'm not sure why, but you can see there's some brown things. Well, this is the remnants of the leaf which was there, so I don't know what's going on with this one. Like us, we talked about this one. Look at this tiny new root on it. I love it. I totally love it. and I hope it will go into dormancy soon. And in that video I told you that I think this bottom leaf is yellowing. Well, I was right, it was yellowing and it already fell, so I'm waiting for the next leaves to fall off from the orchid. Also, this is the oncidium which we saved together. New growths are pretty plump on it, no flower spikes, but you know, it is a great recovery. Look at the plump bulbs, I love them, but no sign of flower spikes. Okay, this is the Myrtaceae dark star something, and it had spider mites, and the spider mites pretty much ruined the new growths. So the new growths don't have too big leaves. For example, look at these leaves. These leaves are tiny. But after I cleaned it, it regained its energy, so the pseudobulb are regular size. So the leaves on the newest pseudobulbs are tiny, but look at this pseudobulb, it's really big. This one, well, it's tinier, but it's really big, so that's great, I love that. And this is my Phalaenopsis Sogoeuchidianish something. I'm not sure if it's a Sogoeuchidian, but I hope it is, because it has really huge white flowers. But that's the only thing which tells me if it might be a Sogoeuchidian. And this is the spike on it, so that's great. Last year it didn't spike for me, so I hope for some nice blooms from you. Okay guys, so Christmas decoration is going on, but do you remember those two Phalaenopsis which we prepared together for repotting? One of them is dead, the other one has 2 spikes, so I think it's kind of a success. So new leaves are growing on it. This is a spike, and somewhere there I saw another spike, but I'm not sure where. Ah, here you go. This is the other spike, so I'm curious about the blooms. You remember the Confessions of an Orchaholic Plant? Well, this is that oncidium featured in that video. This is the new growth, which is really big, and I have a spike here. If you look at it from here, you can see the shadow of the spike there, but the spike is there growing up inside the leaf, so I'm gonna get some blooms from this one as well. This is my epidendrum, red epidendrum hybrid. It was totally ruined by spider mite. It wasn't growing anything after I treated it and I cured it. Well, look at the new growth there, the top part. These leaves are really big compared to any other leaves on this plant, so I'm hoping for some spikes from this one, or actually one spike, because it will produce one spike from the top. And this is my other Dendrobium Phalaenopsis, not doing too well, you know. This, like, it looked like this in the summer update as well, so you know, Denfalls, they always die for me, so I'm glad it didn't die. It just exists, but you know, it's something, right? Okay guys, so this is my collection update for today, and I hope you like this update, and I think I will edit the summer update video so you can see the orchid which I'm talking about in the corner, or maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna be just too lazy to do that. So this is my video for today, and I hope you liked it. And there is a lot more going on because I plan to pre-record stuff, because I don't want to do YouTubing and anything of the sorts in the holidays. So I'm pre-recording stuff for the holidays right now. So if you like this video, click on the like button. Also, you can leave down a comment in the comment section below, and maybe I left out some things. If you're curious about something, we will take a look at those plans. Also, subscribe to this channel, click on the bell button so you will get notifications every time I post. You can also check out my new plant related Instagram account. You can find a link down in the description box, and you can check out my other channel as well. And yeah, that's all. See you next time. Bye guys.